Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling a question that has haunted humanity since the invention of deadlines. Why do we procrastinate? What's the science behind procrastination? Everyone who procrastinates understands that it's completely irrational. So then why is procrastination such a universal struggle? Do other intelligent species procrastinate as well? You know the feeling. You've got a big project, an important task, or maybe even a life-changing goal. But instead of working on it, you're binge-watching cat videos or reorganizing your sock drawer. Sound familiar? Well, you're not alone. Procrastination is something we all struggle with, but why? And more importantly, how can we stop? Let's dive in. First, let's define procrastination. It's not just laziness or poor time management. Procrastination is the act of delaying or postponing tasks, even when we know they're important. It's a voluntary delay, despite expecting to be worse off for it. Sounds counterintuitive, right? Why would we sabotage ourselves like this? Well, it all comes down to how our brains are wired. Procrastination isn't a modern problem. Even ancient Greek philosophers like Socrates and Aristotle wrestled with it. They called it akrasia, the state of acting against your better judgment. So, if humans have been procrastinating for thousands of years, there's got to be a deeper reason behind it. Passive procrastination and active procrastination are two different ways people delay tasks, but they manifest in different behaviors and motivations. Passive procrastination. This type of procrastination is characterized by a lack of motivation, poor time management, and an inability to get started or follow through with tasks. People who engage in passive procrastination often delay tasks due to fear, lack of focus, or feeling overwhelmed. The person might avoid the task altogether, find distractions, or feel guilty about not doing it, but still can't muster the energy or focus to begin. It often leads to anxiety, stress, and lower productivity because the person is stuck in a cycle of avoidance. Active procrastination. Active procrastinators delay tasks on purpose, but they do so intentionally and in a way that works for them. They believe they perform better under pressure and use the extra time to gather information, refine ideas, or motivate themselves. While they delay the task, they still plan to complete it, and the delay may not lead to stress because it's a deliberate choice. They often thrive in high-stakes situations. This can be effective for some people, but if the person waits too long, it could still lead to unnecessary stress or a rushed result. To understand procrastination, we need to look at the brain. Neuroscientists have found that procrastination is essentially a battle between two parts of our brain, the prefrontal cortex, the rational planner, and the limbic system, the emotional, impulsive doer. The prefrontal cortex is responsible for planning, decision-making, and self-control. It's the part of your brain that says, I should really start that project. But the limbic system is all about immediate gratification. It's the part that says, yeah, but wouldn't it be more fun to watch just one more episode? And guess what? The limbic system often wins because it's older, stronger, and more primal. Here's where dopamine comes in. Dopamine is the brain's reward chemical. When you do something enjoyable, like scrolling social media or eating junk food, your brain gets a hit of dopamine. But tasks like work or studying, not so much. So your brain naturally gravitates toward activities that give it that instant reward, even if they're not in your best interest. Now that we know the science, let's break down the why. There are several reasons we procrastinate, and they're not just about being lazy. Here are the top culprits. Fear of failure. Sometimes we procrastinate because we're afraid of failing. If we never start, we can't fail, right? This is especially common with perfectionists. Briefly, an anxious, stressed person will make a decision to delay work on a project that they feel will be difficult or unenjoyable in order to take on another task that they consider to be easier or more enjoyable. This temporarily lessens their stress and anxiety. It's not a successful long-term strategy and can spiral into depression. Emotion regulation has been identified as the core reason why people procrastinate. When a responsibility triggers negative emotions and you're unequipped to manage those feelings internally, externally, managing them by delaying the task can provide instant relief. Lack of clarity. People usually procrastinate because they don't know how to do something. If a task feels too big or vague, it's easy to put it off. Our brains love clear, actionable steps, but when we're unsure where to start, we freeze hell. Lack of motivation? When you start to think that the final outcome of a series of activities is out of your control, you procrastinate. So, dull activities with no meaning for you could induce procrastination. But also, activities that you technically enjoy, but you suffered some bad experiences. If a task doesn't feel rewarding or meaningful, it's hard to get started. That's why we often procrastinate on boring or repetitive tasks. Impulse control. In today's world, distractions are everywhere. It's harder than ever to resist the pull of social media, emails, or Netflix. Survival instincts. Work and school are usually responsibilities, not desires. You might want to deal with schoolwork, you might not. You need to. Will your life be over if you blow something off or call out sick? Probably not. If it becomes a consistent pattern, then there are serious consequences. If you procrastinate on non-essential activities, you're just fine. The only thing you don't satisfy is your intrinsic psychological need for progress on a goal that was evolutionarily wired into you due to the essential needs above. Since our technological system has essentially eliminated the urgency for essential needs, nearly 100% of your time is spent doing artificial activities. But deep down, we realize that it's all a trick, just bread and games, which leads to feelings of procrastination, boredom, and emptiness. Ironically, the less of a hive-minded bug you are, the more you feel like being unproductive in the current system. Nutrient deficiency. Most immediate, a lack of carbohydrates, but even a prolonged lack of fiber, as substrate for gut bacteria, can cause a deficiency of dopamine and search for it from other sources like provocation, screen abuse, etc. Prolonged high dopamine-releasing activities is speculated to raise the base level and cause addiction and withdrawal. But the gut flora remains unmentioned in most psychiatric research and treatment. All serotonin and about half of the dopamine is produced in the gut, according to Quanta, an advisory to the British National Health Service. Understanding why you procrastinate is the first step to overcoming it. So think about it. Which of these reasons resonates with you the most? The cost of procrastination. Procrastination might feel good in the moment, but it comes with a cost. Studies show that chronic procrastination can lead to stress, anxiety, poor performance, and even health problems. It's a vicious cycle. You procrastinate, feel guilty, and then procrastinate even more to avoid the guilt. Sound familiar? But here's the good news. Procrastination isn't a life sentence. With the right strategies, you can break the cycle and take control of your time. How to stop procrastinating? Ready to stop procrastinating? Here are some science-backed strategies to help you get started. Break tasks into smaller steps. Big tasks feel overwhelming. Break them into smaller, manageable steps and focus on one at a time. Use the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. For bigger tasks, commit to working on them for just 2 minutes. Often, starting is the hardest part. Set clear deadlines. Give yourself specific deadlines, even if they're self-imposed. Parkinson's law says work expands to fill the time you give it, so set shorter timeframes. Remove distractions. Turn off notifications, use website blockers, or work in a quiet space. Out of sight, out of mind. Reward yourself. Pair tasks with rewards. For example, if I work for an hour, I'll watch an episode of my favorite show. This taps into your brain's love of dopamine. Remember, overcoming procrastination is a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Be patient with yourself and celebrate small wins along the way. So there you have it, the science behind why we procrastinate and how to stop. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs a productivity boost. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more tips on living your best life. Thanks for watching, and remember, the best time to start is now.